1 degree outside, Weather Network meteorologist Matt Noyes. This is a storm update for you here on a Saturday morning because those of you near and south of Boston Harbor, you're going to find a rapid uptick as this storm moves in. That is the big defining characteristic of this one as you go from almost nothing to significant conditions in a short period of time. It's already been verifying and happening at the North Shore, running up through the seacoast of New Hampshire, southern Maine, and spreading inland through the Merrimack Valley. So inland areas turn gusty as well. Branches, limbs, wires down. We are finding some outages. We'll take a look in a minute. The big thing for mariners in the coastal community, a rapid uptick in waves. I just don't want folks being caught by surprise, either boating, stand-up paddleboarding, whatever the case might be. Feels like values will be only in the 30s. This is an awfully chilly storm that's spreading in. Just a reminder, certainly there are plenty of ways to keep tabs on what's going on with us. Our free app is one of the biggest ones. We are going to issue push notifications by area so that you get the ones that apply to you today. It's the 1 degree outside weather app, but we're also streaming as New England's first and only weather network on your smart TV. Just get the YouTube app open and search for 1 degree outside network on your computer at 1degreeoutside.live and streaming linked at the home screen of our app as well. In terms of power outages, we know these numbers will change over the course of the morning, so I won't spend too much time on it, but notice that New Hampshire and southern Maine has already been into it. We expect these numbers to increase pretty markedly in eastern Mass as the wind spreads south. An analysis of the satellite and radar composite shows that storm center, that swirl, coming together now pretty much right over Boston Harbor. It started out just north of the harbor. It's been drifting south of the harbor. If you analyze the gusts, you'll see most of the wind gusts are on the north side of that storm. You got a small core that's sitting east of the national seashore, but that's going to wrap on the north side of the cyclone as well, which means you've got to wait for the storm to drop south and east before you get those winds picking up. And that's why we're talking about winds coming down over the course of the next several hours in parts of central New England and picking up rapidly when you get into parts of southern New England. Current gusts still going 44 miles per hour at Lawrence. Like I said, it spreads inland, but notice as we head through the next few hours, timestamp in the upper left by late morning, you may still be gusting at the coast. Inland begins to come down a little bit at late morning, and then everybody in central New England starts coming down as we get into the afternoon. You get into southern New England, and we're still waiting on the wind. This is that rapid uptick part, at least as of this recording, just prior to 8 a.m. Again, we'll be keeping you updated through push notifications and on our streaming network as well. But notice it's late morning when the gusts are picking up at the South Shore, and it's actually more like midday into the afternoon, or at least early afternoon, that you see that rapid uptick coming into the Cape, gusts going over 50 at the coast. In fact, some folks on the Cape and the islands probably will gust over 60 miles per hour by the time all is said and done. And with leaves on the trees that act like little sails to catch that wind, that puts a lot of strain on the trees. That's why we say there will certainly be some limb damage, some branch damage, and probably some tree damage that's done. Maximum wind gust likely to be about 40 to 50, let's say through eastern Massachusetts here and southeast New Hampshire, and then 50 plus right at the coastline as all this spreads southward over the course of the morning to midday. Waves right now, what a difference. Look what we've done. This is what I mean about the marine community impact. When you get just outside of Portsmouth Harbor and Isle of Shoals, you've got a 9-foot sea. This has already been being reported. Same thing in southern Maine. Then you get a 1-foot sea when you get down around the Cape. See my concern there. You're going to rapidly pick those waves up. You've already got waves to 6 feet near Boston Harbor. And take a look. By the afternoon, we're talking about waves that'll be 8 to 12 feet. And even into Cape Cod Bay, those waves are going to be building. So this is something we really don't want folks to be caught by surprise on. Even when you get to the Cape and the islands this afternoon, the seas have built 6 to 9 feet for the most part. And maybe if you're a little bit more sheltered around Buzzards Bay, it's a 3 or 4 foot wave. But nonetheless, you get the idea, right? The other thing is the water temperatures. So this is one concern too, is folks who are thinking, well, I'd like to get out there before the weather moves in. If it picks up while you're out there at the South Shore, the Cape, and it's going to pick up very rapidly, the drink is awfully cold right now, and it's not just in the drink, it's also the air. Look what happens when the rain comes in and the wind picks up. That's your feels like temperature in the 30s. We expect that to be the case up and down the coastline as that band of rain and wind spreads southward. So that means now you've got cold water and very cold air. So that's one of the concerns that we have for folks who aren't paying attention to the weather. So hopefully spread the word, if you can, to those that you love that are along the coast and may have been thinking about making an adventure out there here today. Really impressive from a scientific standpoint. This is the water vapor satellite, which tracks basically water in its gaseous form in the atmosphere, right? The white and green is where you see more in the way of water vapor, and you can see that big swirl coming right down over New England. That is the heart of the energetic disturbance. We've talked about this over the last several days in our videos, that this is an unusually cold and energetic disturbance for this time of the year, and oftentimes you see surprises that happen in a situation like this. I think that we haven't really seen too many surprises, only because in our forecast we were expecting the thunder overnight, expecting this core of wind to drop south, but we'll see if nature has any further surprises up its sleeve. It can surprise the upside and downside, right? So that could also mean that the wind core doesn't end up holding together all the way south. But at this point, we think since it's already come together, there's a very good chance that it would. In terms of rain, if you got an outdoor event, look, the biggest thing is going to be if you have a tent, you better check and make sure it's tied down because it's going to have a lot of wind stress to it. Now, for some of you in coastal New Hampshire and the Northeast Mass, you've already had some of your worst wind, right? For those of you farther south, you still have time. You can check that and see what's going on. In terms of the rain, notice by 5:30 it's done all the way through Boston Harbor. And by the time we get to, let's say, about 6, 7 o'clock, it really is confined mostly to the Cape, and we're improving conditions for a lot of folks. And then it continues to improve and actually clear out during the overnight. Additional amounts of rain that's coming on top of what you've already had during the overnight, going to be probably on the order of about a half inch for many. The only spot you see higher amounts is when you get across parts of New Hampshire and Maine. And just so you know, the one river we're going to be watching is the Saco River. We think the Saco River around Conway may be able to come into minor flood stage later today. The improvement that comes in this evening will be with you tomorrow morning. Your Sunday morning looks like it should be pretty decent, but Sunday afternoon, scattered showers, a couple of embedded downpours pick up. They come into northern New England by midday. Southern New England, the chance increases after 2 and really goes up as you get toward 4 p.m. Probably still going to be some scattered showers around for us Monday. And then by the time we get out into the midweek, maybe things can quiet down, an isolated shower by the time we get along about Tuesday or so. So this is the way things look for now. Obviously, this is a dynamic situation. It'll continue to change, and we will keep you posted. Just a reminder again, our app is the best way to stay on top of this. The hourly forecast page, the radar page, and make sure you have notifications and location turned on when you get that app so that we can give you those updates again, region by region, as the impacts come through. Thanks for watching 1 Degree Outside Weather Network. Spread the word. We don't want folks getting caught by surprise out there over the course of today. Stay safe and have a great start to the weekend.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.onedegreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the #1 Degree Outside Weather.